This isn't just another podcast. We're crushing the taboos and we're rewriting the rules. It's the space where we normalize women becoming wealthy. If you're done playing small and ready to become the CEO of your life and the architect of your future, then my girl, you're in the right room. Welcome to your wealthy era. Welcome to the Wellthy CEO podcast.
Today's guest spent over 2 decades building one of Toronto's most beloved beauty brands until burnout, anxiety, and a body that flat out stopped cooperating forced her to reinvent everything she had built. Bruna DiCecca is the founder of Ritual Beauty and Wellness, where she turned her own nervous system breakdown into a complete reinvention of her business, and now she is on a mission to help ambitious people reconnect with their bodies before burnout becomes their identity. This is the conversation about what happens when success isn't enough and what it actually costs to build wealth that lasts. Joining me today in studio, I have another incredible guest for you that is going to deliver so much value, and I'm so excited to introduce you to her. Before we get started, though, I have a big favor to ask of you. Please subscribe to the show wherever you're tuning in from, and if you haven't yet left a review, please do so because it helps to have the show reach other people who need to hear it. Bruna, welcome to the Wellthy CEO podcast.
Thank you so much, Shae. We believe in divine timing. There's been a lot of obstacles to get us here finally. And I just want to say thank you. I met you at the Wellthy, not at the Wellthy, I met you at Run the World Summit, and I saw you as a panelist. And I was devouring all your information, and I had to come up to you and introduce myself and meet with you because you delivered so many powerful nuggets when it came to like investments and how you spoke about your daughter and the future. And I'm so glad that I'm here because I feel like it's a full circle moment for both of us. Well,
I appreciate you coming up because had you not, I don't know if you'd be sitting here right now, maybe next year or somewhere down the line, right? So, and you are right. I think like taking you behind the scenes, whether you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify or Apple, wherever you're tuning in from, to give you a little behind the scenes. This is the 5th, I think, attempt to get Bruna to come into the studio. She actually showed up here last week and I wasn't here because we had dates crossed and needing to move things. And I always say, if you are listening to this episode has found you for a reason. Mm-hmm. So tune in, buckle up, pull out a piece of paper, take some notes, because somebody was trying to make sure you didn't hear it, and you're hearing it right now.
I love that. I love that. And I believe in divine timing. And yes, I showed up here last week, and today I got torrential downpoured, and the forces were against us, but here I am, and I'm so grateful for you. Thank you.
Well, I love having these conversations. You turned your survival healing journey into like a full-blown business.
100%.
Which is incredible.
Yes.
And you have a business of doing all of the things that I love, that I would say for my wellness, vitality, self-care, all of that. I would love to hear from you, just like what was going on in your life that had you in survival? What was going on then? Because I'm sure you didn't see in that moment or in that time, those months, years, whatever it was, that this was going to become a life-changing moment and a full-blown career where your pain turned into purpose to actually help heal other people.
Yes, exactly. So I'll take you back to where it all began. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've been in the beauty business for close to 25 years. I started off Ritual in 2002 with a business partner, and Ritual had a cult-like following. We were very, very successful off the hop, and business was great for the first 18 years until it was not. And I had some issues with my previous partner, and we just weren't aligned anymore. So I finally mustered up the courage to buy her out, mortgage my house, ready to go. It took us a few years to get there. And then finally in January 2020, We signed the papers. I bought her out, and I was finally a solopreneur. And then 6 weeks later, the world shut down.
God.
Complete shutdown. So COVID happened. My business was completely closed. Keep in mind, I had mortgaged my house, our family home.
Yeah.
My husband also owned a fitness facility, so we were both deemed
out.
unessential.
Oh my
So
goodness.
the two of us, our business is closed. House mortgaged our home, and then we have 2 sons. And like everybody else who had to struggle through, well, not everybody, but most people who had to struggle through COVID, I ended up with nervous system dysregulation because the constant fight or flight that I was in, having to take care of my family, make sure my team was okay. Even though we were closed, I still was in contact with my team, making sure everybody was fine. I was getting phone calls from them on a regular basis. What's happening? Are we going to open? Are we not going to open? I had no answers. I did speak out. One of my videos went very, very viral during the pandemic. I spoke out against the narrative that was happening and why there were certain inconsistencies, why Oakville was open and Mississauga was closed, so we were losing a lot of our guests that were going over to other establishments that were opened. And I spoke out. My video went viral, like global. It was against what most people, like the popular opinion, I guess you could say, and
The sheep opinion.
the sheep opinion.
Hello? Yep.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
so thank you for that. And then once we opened for the first time, I went from a staff of 31 to 18. And then my video went viral. And then when we came back to work after 320 days of closures, I only had a staff of 8.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, wild.
Yeah. And so that, like, as much as COVID was a shit show for my family, for my life, it was actually a time to slow down and really reevaluate what was important to me and who I wanted to surround myself with. And so the beauty industry did us very, very well, but I felt like that vision was more my partner's vision. The beauty, the exterior beauty, superficial. I wanted to work with people and help people feel good on the inside, not just look good on the outside.
Yeah.
And I realized that being there, I wasn't living in my authentic voice or my authentic way of living because I was doing everything that looked good on the outside, but inside I was dying. And I literally got really, really sick after COVID. I was dealing with anxiety and depression, which I had never dealt with before. And I had a dysregulated nervous system. And when you say like the dark forces come after you, like I felt like there was a demonic possession over my life. And I was trying everything. From tarot cards to astrologers, any energy healer, Reiki, anything to feel better.
Yeah.
But what it really took was for me to like sit back and just reevaluate my life and reevaluate the direction that my business was going in. And one day my husband took me to this place that no longer exists at the moment, but it was like an infrared sauna, cold plunge type of place. And for the first time in my life, I sat in the sauna and I was like, oh my God. And I'm completely cold adverse. I hate the cold. I don't even belong in this country.
Yeah.
But I was
Me
like,
too.
Yeah. But I tried it because I felt like something different, something I may have needed. And I went into that plunge. And for 3 minutes, for the first time, I felt embodied in my body. The monkey mind of the whole last 3 years of the narrative of COVID completely subsided, and I was able to feel calm and regulated and in my body. And I got out of it after 3 minutes, and my husband's like, wow, like that's crazy for your first time. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, this is what we're doing. Like, this is what we're doing with ritual. I was no longer in alignment with the direction we were in, with the whole beauty on the outside. I wanted to do things that were going to help people regulate themselves on the inside. So what I did is I started to take a bunch of different healing modalities, like the Brazilian lymphatic, the sauna and the cold plunge, and created the spa that I needed, the wellness center that I wish I had and needed when I was going through my burnout as a high functioning CEO. So,
oh my goodness. There's so many things there that I love, and it is so important. You'll also be happy to know I have just booked a in-home consultation for my infrared sauna and also my cold plunge, because now I'm moving from a condo to a house and I can have those things because I'm obsessed with both. And cold plunging is one of my, I'm going to say it's actually one of like my deepest forms of internal meditation. And I know meditation is internal, but I mean like really like at your core. So much of it, of course, is your mind, but it's your breathing. And once you control your breath, the heart slows down. And it's one of my favorite things. I've had the pleasure of guiding so many people through their first cold plunges.
I love that.
Yeah, because it's so important. So I love that you introduced and you brought these modalities into your spa. What you call wellness center, right? And it's really, really important. Like what you've shared so much around, like whether you're a solopreneur or you're an entrepreneur with a team, and I'm going to add on a female and a mom on top of that, right? Like if you are any or all of those things, so many women, and myself included, operate from a level of burnout that has become so normalized that you feel like that's like your normal baseline. Like you forget what it actually feels like to be fully energized, right? Like, and have like the emotional stress removed, never mind just the physical stress on your body removed. And I want to ask you, were there any signs that you, looking back, that you can notice that you're like, wow, my nervous system was becoming dysregulated there. And wow, that burnout, that feeling was not normal. It wasn't just because I was in a season of overdrive. Like now the overdrive is gone, but that's lingered or stayed, because I think so many of us don't realize what's actually happening. And it's very kitschy on the internet, right?
Yes.
Everyone is like, regulate your nervous system, regulate your nervous system. And it's like, okay, well, like one, really, like what does that mean? And like, how do you actually heal your nervous system?
Well, for me, it you know, like they talk about like the universal smackdown kind of thing. Like it starts with a whisper and you don't listen to it. And then it starts with like somebody telling you, or it starts to get louder. For me, I was operating on complete fumes, and I was like a self-proclaimed hustler, and I wore it like a badge of honor. I'm a hustler. I'm always go, go, go. And not until my body forced me to slow down did I know that I was like literally operating on fumes. I couldn't pour back into my family. I couldn't take care of my kids, worry about my team. I was coming from a place of reactivity as opposed to coming from a place of clarity, because I was so dysregulated that everything was so reactive, as opposed to when I took the time to do the plunge and calm my heartbeat and clear my monkey mind and just go within and talk to God and my meditative walks, I started to realize I am so missing the mark from being a successful entrepreneur, because it looked successful on the outside, but internally and in my house, I wasn't successful. I was very reactive. I was very short. It was very hard for me to make decisions and from a place of clarity, until I started to like take a step back and do the cold contrast therapy on a regular basis. Enjoy the Brazilian lymphatic drainage massage, which helps could not only calm you down, clear out, like, for me, I think it's more of on a cellular level what the Brazilian lymphatic drainage does.
Sure.
It's not just like your typical deep tissue massage. You feel lighter, you feel tighter, you feel more embodied. And so for me, in order to come back to myself, I needed to carve out that time and take off that badge of honor of being a self-proclaimed hustler and just really ground in my own being, find my faith in God, because at the end of the day, that was the only thing that saved my life. I could have done 300 Reiki sessions, but without having God in my life and having the ability to surrender, and He allowed everything to unfold.
Totally.
For me.
So interesting. Like, as you're talking, what comes up for me is we as females, and we've moved out of, like, you're so accurate when you say like hustle culture, wearing this like badge of honor.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago, I think many females were in that, myself included, where it was like, you're working 13, 14-hour days, you're up till 2 a.m, you're up at 5, 6 a.m, doing your workout, going to work, building the business and the grind. And we have moved more into this realization that anything that comes at the cost of your peace is actually not success, right? And I think that's also reserved more for the man's world. Like, we are built differently than men, and we as women in business should not try to mimic and be like and copy the males in the industry. You and I already have to show up with masculine energy. If you're in business, you already have to bring that to the table. But by design, that's not our strength.
No.
Our strength is the feminine. Our strength is the creativity. Our strength is the nurturing, right? And so when we're in hustle, it actually puts us, I believe, further behind than it does ahead. Whereas for men, when they're in the grind of the hustle, and the hard, they're built for that,
yes.
right? Like, that's in their DNA. Caveman, like, that is what
the
they're
hunter,
supposed to be.
The gatherer.
The hunter, exactly,
yeah.
right? By design. And so, and it's been nice to see that we are celebrating more women who are choosing to take maybe a slower route to get to the same goal or the destination. It just might take longer, because we are tuning into what it actually does to our nervous system, what it does to our body. And like you mentioned, the ripple effect that it has amongst whoever's around you, even if you're not a parent, right? Like, even if you don't have kids, but your partner, your family, your team even, right? Like in business. And I want to ask you, because stepping into, I'm going to even say like wellness, right? Like, it is a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I mean, it's interesting because your story was not like, you didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to build a wellness brand. It was something that came out of your own journey and your own, survival story, really. But did you ever think, like, were you ever terrified to step in as a CEO into a wellness brand, given the saturation in the marketplace?
Well, it wasn't, to be quite honest, we were actually the first private contrast therapy suites in Toronto. So we kind of got in there right before it became niche and trendy.
Right.
For me, burnout taught me that I couldn't pour from an empty cup. And I wanted to create a space where high-functioning, high-level CEOs, moms, people who are always taking care of everyone else can come and just relax and be in their body. My mess became my message. So my health challenges is what, I can't say forced me, but pushed me into creating the wellness center that it is.
Right.
I don't think that as high-level CEOs and moms that are always giving to everybody else, if we don't take that time that we need to pour back into ourselves, we can actually create something beautiful, as opposed to always running from a place of fumes.
Yeah, it's so true. If this episode is bringing you value, can I please ask you for 30 seconds of your time to subscribe to the show from wherever you're tuning in from? leave a review, and share this episode. This is how we amplify the message, we grow the show, and we multiply the impact for women. I want to ask you like a technical question because you started a while back when there was, of course, I'm going to say like less saturation in the marketplace. Yes. And now, especially in Toronto, right? Like there seems to be popping up all these like membership-based studios and places for cold plunging and all different kind of like healing modality, like therapies. And when you think about in 2026, the speed in which things are changing and AI happening, yet your core business relies on creating such a human experience, like very hands-on touch. Are you integrating AI into your business now? And if so, how are you doing that?
To a certain extent, AI, I always joke that Claude and ChatGPT are my best friends. I love them. Yeah. But to be completely transparent, for me, it's more of the human connection. And what we've created at Ritual is heart-based professionals who are there to take care of you. I'm not saying I'm not going to go into the AI world and help me when it comes to the back end and systematization and SOPs and that kind of thing. But you know how everybody's like afraid of AI? I feel that now more than ever, people are going to be yearning for that human connection. So there's a lot of jobs that people are going to lose to AI, but not in the industry of wellness where people are yearning for that human connection. People want that touch, that feeling of being able to breathe, being encapsulated into their bodies because we're so disconnected from our bodies. So you could do the sauna and the cold plunge, and I think it's great. And I actually love the fact that like the younger generation, like club district is dying, and now people are doing like the other ships and the other wonderful wellness rituals. So for me, I'm incorporating AI on a small level, but for us, Ritual is always going to be about the guest experience and the human connection.
I love that. It's so important.
Yeah.
And I think even more so as AI gets more integrated, the desire for human connection is actually going to become that much stronger.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah. So it's important that you're using it as a tool, but not trying to replace that human connection.
After the deprivation of like the alienation during COVID, and what we saw an increase of Alzheimer's went up to an 80% high because of the isolation. For me, it's always about the human connection. It's about the community that you create, the people that you have in your space, and the people that you're able to help. So the human connection, I don't think will ever go out of style or ever be replaced by AI.
I agree. I want to ask you if you had to rebuild what you've built today, because I'm going to presume, I mean, we're always working on ourselves. There's always something to heal, something to fix, right? Yeah. But you're in a much more conscious state of regulation of self today than you were when you first started. So if you were to build again today, how would you advise somebody to, I'm going to say consciously, to not go down the road of burnout? If you were to build all over again, how would you do that?
Truthfully, it all boils down to, as women, we are highly intuitive beings. Aligning ourselves with people that feel right, creating from a place of clarity as opposed to chaos, and also just being true to yourself and knowing what the desired outcome is and trusting the flow. Like one thing that you did say, you mentioned earlier, is peace is a non-negotiable. For me, peace is priceless. So if it costs me my peace, it's too expensive.
Right.
What I mean by that is when you're hiring people, or even type of demographic that you want to bring into your space. You also have to be very mindful of the intention that you set, because we're here to help people, but we don't also just want to be a place of like everybody with nervous system dysregulation is coming to us. Like we can help you to a certain degree, but just being very intentional with what you're putting out into the universe about what you want to bring back into your life. So like you had mentioned about being in flow. Men are in that masculine energy, go, go, go. I feel for me and for other women, when you're in a place of
yeah, now I'm trying to say it, and I'm going to
reciprocity,
yes,
receptiveness, and openness, and a place of clarity. I feel that you can create so much more on a grander scale and help so many more people when you're living authentically, as opposed to just being niche or whatever's trendy.
So it's funny that you just said that word, because as you're talking, I wanted to ask you about trends and luxury. Oftentimes, like wellness gets sold, it's associated as something that's luxurious, as trendy. And as you're talking, for me, it sounds like it's so much deeper than that. And I wanted to ask you, like, what does true wellness actually mean to you now?
So for me, peace, number one, being in my body, coming from a place of clarity where my mind is still, making decisions from that place, no longer being part of the hustle culture. And truthfully, I didn't open ritual because it was trendy.
Right.
I opened it, I created it because it's something that I needed. And because of the healing modalities that helped me get through my nervous system dysregulation, I'm able to bring that to our community, to Toronto, to the people who really, really need it most. So for me, it's not a trendy thing. It's a lifestyle for me.
Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
And it should be. Right?
It is.
Like something that you continue to do and you become better at it, right? Like self-care, wellness, like learning.
Ritualizing your self-care practice, right?
There you go.
Yeah. And for you, that you're bringing the sauna and the cold plunge into your home, making it part of your daily ritual, your morning ritual or your evening ritual, I think it's amazing. You're showing your daughter, the future generation, that mommy needs to take care of herself so that she could be better to take care of you.
Yeah. It's so important.
It is. It's essential.
So if you had to choose only one modality that you could, or wellness ritual that you could do for the rest of your life, what would that be?
Truthfully, it's two. And we have a service, and it's called the Detox Trifecta. And it basically incorporates the contrast therapy with the Brazilian and the buccal. That is the all-time one ritual that I would do for the rest of my life.
I need to come in and try it.
You need to come in.
I know.
100%. Yes, 100%.
Well, I'm going to be officially 12 minutes from my mom, and which will be a lot easier than almost like 40 minutes to an hour. And so I will be able to take a full afternoon for myself to be able to come down.
And pour them back into your cup.
Yeah. I'm it's one of the greatest gifts, as I was sharing with you before we started, is it's sweet sorrow. I'm very sad to be leaving my area, and I'm just very grateful for the blessings that I know are going to come in this next chapter.
Agreed.
And this is definitely one of them.
Yes,
being
100%.
able to come down.
Closer to your mama so then she could take care of your baby, 100%. Yeah. And at the end of the day, Shae, like as entrepreneurs, we're doing it for them, right? Yeah. And if you can't be flexible with your time, and if you can't pour back into them, why are we doing this?
Yeah, 100%. And I'll say there's a fine line, because there's a lot of women, and there's no judgment, but there's a lot of women that I see online that aren't there for bedtimes. They're traveling all the time, and they will say it's for them. It's for their children, and that they're doing it. And they're missing them growing up. And for me, that's not worth the trade-off. And I mentioned that earlier, is like sometimes we need to take the slower route to get to that same destination, or take a different path that can still get you to that same destination. But for me, and I'm in that season right now, being in real estate, and there's no mat leave. I don't have a consistent paycheck. Like I don't have a monthly income coming in. And, I bring her everywhere. Like literally next Thursday, I'm going to go do a market update for clients. And I said, can we move it on Monday? Because my mom's out of town next week. And I said, I didn't realize it. She said, well, my husband can't do it. Just bring your daughter. And I was like, are you sure? Like, I'm cool with it because she comes to my showings. She comes to home inspections. Like she'll come and do CMAs, like doing evaluations when I know the people, new clients. I would never do that, And I will choose that because I'm not putting her in daycare, putting her,
But isn't that why we went into entrepreneurship, to have
that
freedom?
Flexibility? Yes.
And I love the fact that people are much more open to having you bring your daughter along and her seeing mommy at work. Yeah. Same thing. When I opened Ritual in 2006, we opened our second location. I didn't get a mat leave. My eldest son was like literally sitting in his bumbo chair while I was cashing out guests on a Sunday afternoon. And so I think it's great for them to see that aspect of entrepreneurship, but also, like you said, no judgment against the people who are missing, their daughter's first steps or like not being able to read them bedtime stories. For me, that was one of the reasons why I went into entrepreneurship. I wanted to be able to have the flexibility to pick my son up after school at 3:30. So, I mean, we do it. There's different reasons why people get into entrepreneurship, but for me, it was I wanted to be present for my children as well.
Yeah, I think it's so important, because when they get older, they're not going to be more impressed that you're in a bigger house with a better car and that you did it for them. What they will remember is that you weren't there for dinner, you weren't there for the soccer game.
Spent.
Right, you're not going to remember that. And like to your point, my dad never worked Sundays. That was like family day. And once in a blue moon, I literally can remember maybe twice in my childhood that like he had, and I remember it because it was so abnormal that he had to go, for a client maybe out of town coming in for a short period of time, whatever, but even dinners, like I don't remember my dad missing dinners. He wasn't always there for bedtime because he went back out to work. And he would come home late, because back in the day, real estate was carbon copy, fax paper. You're going from one kitchen to the next one. Yeah, like you're driving around. Like I remember being in Mexico and my dad disappearing for an hour and a half because he had to go to like the front of the hotel, have them printed out. Yeah. He had to, do the paperwork, fax it back like you were faxing back then, you know? But to your point, like I witnessed my dad working, but my dad was at every soccer game. I don't remember him not being there. He never missed dinners. He was there on Sundays. And that is like what's important. For me, what wouldn't have been worth it is him just not being there for any of it to then say, well, it's because I wanted you to be able to go to private school or I wanted you to be able to drive around in the fancy car. And it's like, your kids don't give a shit what car you're driving around.
Quality time is so much more important. The memories that you create with them, being present at the dinner table, having our favorite meal together, chit-chatting about your day as opposed to, not being there and your kids raising themselves or your nanny raising them.
And that's where I'm like, there's that fine line, because there's a lot of it that I see on the internet these days where like moms are on the road for like months on end doing their book tours or speaking tours and their kids are not there with them. My daughter would be coming with me. Same. And that would be part of my package. It was like, I'm coming, plane seat needs to be for her and me. Like she has to be there. For me, that's a non-negotiable.
And ultimately, you went into entrepreneurship because of that, for the flexibility, for the perks. And I wouldn't change, like the stress is one thing, but I wouldn't change the advantages that we have as entrepreneurs and female entrepreneurs to make our own rules. And our children are part of that, in coming in tow.
100%.
My son comes down to work with me on the week, like on weekdays. He's folding towels. My other son is now going to be he's opening up a barbershop when he turns 20, just because he's seen the entrepreneurial journey for myself and my husband. And they want the flexibility as well.
I love that. So
Yeah,
cool.
I love it.
Yeah. And so your boys are 16 and going
20.
to be 20? Oh, 20.
Yeah. I have a 20-year-old. My 20-year-old is actually, he has special needs, but he's so highly intuitive and so highly intelligent. He's the one that comes to ritual and folds all our towels and greets all our guests and makes them their tea.
I love that.
Yeah, and we make it a family affair.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
So great.
It really is.
So funny enough that he's 20, because I always ask every guest this in closing, is I want to bring you back to your 20-year-old self.
Whoa.
Take a moment, go there, feel her, what she's doing, who are her friends, is she working, what type of work are you doing? And the question is what would you go back and tell your 20-year-old self?
So in my 20s were incredible.
Yeah.
I was a bartender at Fluid Lounge.
Yeah.
If anybody knows,
I remember that.
Everybody
Yep.
knows Fluid Lounge. My 20s were incredible. What I would go back and tell my 20-year-old self is that you are one resilient, beautiful, strong, determined, non-hustling
Yes.
CEO, and you need to take care of your health so that you could be there to take care of your people, your crew, your tribe, your family. And I just feel very grateful for all the lessons that I've learned in my life to get me to where I am, because I'm finally at a place where I'm really enjoying the entrepreneurial journey after everything that happened to me in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful for the people that have come along with me for the journey.
I love it.
Peace is priceless, FYI.
It is. The double P.
Double P, baby.
So good.
Yeah.
Bruna, thank you for your honesty, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your resilience and perseverance. Hello, to be here on the show today. And I love what you said, to everyone listening. Success that costs you your health, that costs you your peace, is not actually success, right? Big mask.
Yeah.
And I always like to say, it's a loan that you'll eventually have to repay, right? One way or another, there's a price, there's a cost.
Definitely.
For that. Go find Bruna.
Thank
You're
you.
on Instagram.
I am at Ritual Toronto, and I'm at Ritual Wellness Studio in Toronto as well.
And we're going to put everything into the show notes, so make sure to drop a DM to Bruna, connect with her. And if this has hit home, if this has resonated, if you yourself are thinking of a friend, another woman that needs to hear this, please share it, because we want as many women to be encouraged and hear this. And again, subscribe to the show and leave a review on today's episode. Thanks for listening. If today's episode resonated with you and you are feeling something stirring deep within, I want to extend this invitation for you. This is for Women That Pray, a room where women are covered in prayer in every area of their life, including their business, where we connect, we celebrate each other's wins, we collaborate, and gain territory for the kingdom through the work that we're already doing. We start in September. The waitlist is open. Click the link in the show notes or DM me the word covered on Instagram, and I will get you in the room. If something in today's episode resonated with you or sparked a shift, tag me on IG or send me a DM. I genuinely love hearing what lands for you. And if it spoke to you, share it or leave a quick review. It helps more women find this show and step into their own wealthy era. Until next time, lead with purpose, live with intention, and stay wealthy.